Hello. Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to the energy forecast. I'm really excited to be here today. I've gotten like a ton of downloads of stuff I want to share with all of you. And I really want to just address like the energy on the planet and how everyone's feeling. And I really want to focus on, as much as it seems like people are going through a lot right now, or like last week I was talking about how a lot of us are being faced with deeper things to face and look at, shadow aspects of ourselves. That is going to continue at least for the next like 2 years, especially because we now have the South Node in Scorpio, which I touched on a little bit last week. But it's also like this really powerful opportunity to step into a version of yourself that you've never been before. And I've noticed for me, and I'm basically seeing with everybody I work with, like everybody is stepping into these new versions of themselves that they are like, holy shit, like I didn't even know that I was capable of this. So, I just want to say, like, right now is such a powerful time, and people are shifting and changing and understanding things about themselves and who they are, what they're meant to be doing, what they're capable of, and just understanding their power and stepping into it in a completely new way. So I'm seeing it with everybody, and it's really exciting, and it's really powerful. So, this is a really exciting time in our evolution and on the planet. So I just wanted to like take a moment to acknowledge and celebrate that because it's really exciting. And I am seeing miracles happen on the daily with everybody that I'm working with and everybody in my life, as far as growth, as far as manifestations, as far as inner shifts, outer shifts, like whatever it is, you know, just seeing the shifts that people are making in such a short amount of time, it's really mind blowing. And as much as, we're being forced to look at ourselves right now, we're growing at such a rapid pace that it's really exciting, and it's really a powerful time on this planet. And I'm just like excited to be a part of it and excited to be alive. And I think the other thing too that I'm seeing with people and with myself is just going into this deeper level of understanding like who you really are and what you actually want and what kind of life you want to live. Because I think, the programming that we receive, the powers that be, like, because of all of that, sometimes or most of the time, we don't even allow ourselves to acknowledge certain things that we want or certain aspects of who we are because we don't think it's going to be accepted by other people. We don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable, and we don't want to go like outside of the status quo. But I think now more than ever, people are waking up to the fact that that's all bullshit and that they actually really want to be happy and live in a way that is aligned for them and create something that's going to not only make them happy, but also have a huge impact on the world. And to do that, it takes living outside of the box, and it takes creating your own rules, and it takes saying no to a lot of those ideas about reality and what it means to live a life, what it means to be successful. And I'm just seeing so many people step outside of that and create something new for themselves. And it's just really, really exciting. So say hi if you are here. I can't wait to say hi to everybody that's watching and connect with your energy. So definitely let me know if you are here so I can say hi to you. So today's topic, I'm really excited about this. I've been getting some really clear downloads about enmeshment, codependency, boundaries, and money. So if you're not familiar with some of these topics, or you need me to like kind of redefine them for you, I will. But this is probably the number one thing that I see with people that prevents them from moving forward or creating the things that they want to create, whether it be starting a business, whether it be income goals, relationship goals, the number one thing that holds people back is these relationship patterns of enmeshment, codependency, which results in not having boundaries or having really poor boundaries. And this always affects your ability to make money, because if you don't know where you start and stop and other people start and stop, it's harder for you to receive or have a container to actually receive more. Because if you want to really be able to make more money, you have to be really clear on what you're available for and what you're not available for. Because if you're constantly giving your energy to something that is not in alignment for you, the universe is going to think that you are saying yes to something that you are okay with and give you more of that, and then not give you the things that you actually want because you're saying yes to the things that you don't want. So it will directly affect your ability to make more money. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Roxy. Hi, Easter. Oh, the video's in and out. It's so annoying. It keeps doing this. I don't know what to say. I'm going to close some of my tabs. Sorry about that. Okay. So, let's see if that helps. Okay. So enmeshment. So what is enmeshment, and why should you care about this? And I'm going to tell you exactly why you need to care about this. Okay. So enmeshment is when you don't know the difference between your feelings and other people's feelings. So basically, growing up, if you had a family where no one had any boundaries, right? And where your parents might have made their problems your problems, or because you saw a parent who was in pain or who was in trauma or who couldn't take care of themselves, or who wanted you to cater to them when they were upset. Because a lot of times when your parents have unhealed trauma, they will automatically lean on you as a support, because they don't have good boundaries and they haven't cleared their trauma, and they see that you are empathic and you are a little healer, and something within them can sense that you will be able to hold space for them, and they don't have anyone else to hold space for them. They will lean on you. And as a kid, when they do that, you think that's normal, and then you start to take on their feelings in an effort to help them, in an effort to heal them. And then you go into this pattern of living where you don't know whether things are their feelings or your feelings, because you become enmeshed. It's like you are connected to them. So every time they feel something, you feel it too. So why is this important? Because in order to be able to make more money, in order to be able to start a business, in order to be able to create anything that you want, you need to be able to discern between what are your feelings and what are other people's feelings. And it's really easy to do this in a relationship, right? Because sometimes we can say, if you have a partner and you are thinking about telling them something, and then you're imagining you're telling them something, and then you're imagining how they feel when you tell them that thing, and then you are feeling the thing that you imagine that they would feel when you tell them that thing. I know this sounds like really confusing, but that's enmeshment. When you are feeling what the other person is feeling instead of feeling what you're actually feeling. And this can be really tricky because it's really easy to go into, especially if you are an empath, especially if you are a highly sensitive person, especially if you are psychic, if you are a healer. I mean, most of us are all of these things, right? So it's easy for us to tune into what other people are feeling. However, what ends up happening is we take on the feelings of other people and think that they are our own feelings. And then it keeps us stuck from being able to make decisions. For example, if you want to start a business, or you have started a business, but one of the things that's holding you back is you're scared of what other people will think of you, or you're scared of putting yourself out there, most likely there is some kind of enmeshment involved in that, because you are feeling what you imagine other people are going to feel when they see you put yourself out there, right? Oh, those people are going to judge me, or they're going to think this about me, or who am I to do that? There is a piece of enmeshment in there because you are literally feeling what you think other people are going to feel about you. It's not actually what you feel, right? You are putting yourself in the place of somebody else and feeling what you would imagine them to feel. Let me know if this is making sense because, hi, Tao, because I know that this can sound a little bit complicated and I can like riff on this forever. But once you can start to understand where you start and stop and where other people start and stop, and then you don't feel responsible for other people and their feelings, and you don't feel other people's feelings for them. And believe me, I am a culprit of this. I am a recovering people pleaser slash taking on other people's feelings, right? And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this because, like I said, you're highly sensitive, you are empathic, you are psychic, you are healers, you can feel what other people are feeling. But just because you can tune into what they're feeling doesn't mean you have to take it on, and doesn't mean that you need to mistake it for your own. So what ends up happening with enmeshment is it then creates codependency because you then feel responsible for what the other person feels, and you feel like you need to make them feel better. You need to take away their pain. You need to hold them in some way so that they feel better or they don't have to deal with their feelings. And what this creates is a situation where both people are giving their power away because you can't make anyone feel anything. They are responsible for their feelings and you're responsible for your feelings. And the more that you can discern between what are your feelings and what are other people's feelings, the more that you can take your power back and say, you know what, this is how I feel. You're allowed to feel how you feel, but I'm not responsible for you. And additionally, when you do that, you actually give the other person their power back. And the reason why is because when you try to take responsibility for someone else, when you try to hold somebody else energetically, what you're essentially saying to them is that I don't believe that you can handle this on your own. I don't believe that you have the capacity to handle your emotions or handle your problems on your own. So I'm going to take them on for you. So when you stop doing that, you essentially are saying to the other person, here is your power back. You can take it or not, but I'm going to take my power back and I'm going to be responsible for myself. But really what you're doing is you're modeling what is possible for other people, that they don't need to rely on other people to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel like everything is okay. So these are really like fundamental relationship energetics that it's super important to tune into and understand, especially if you're feeling stuck around moving forward in a certain way. So where are you still enmeshed with people in your life, and where are you still having codependent relationships, whether it be with a partner, whether it be with a parent, or even like with your business or with your clients, you know? It can be really easy when you start to work with clients to feel responsible for them, to feel like you have to make their pain go away, or to feel like their healing is dependent on you. And that's not the case at all, right? When somebody works with you, they are responsible for their own healing. You are just holding the space, you're holding the energy, and you're modeling for them what's possible. And they're plugging into your energy so that they can create healing on their own. So this is a really big paradigm shift because a lot of the programming that we receive from society and culture and just the way that we're brought up is that we're responsible for other people, or we need to sacrifice ourselves for other people, especially if you're a mom, right? This can be even more tricky if you're a mom. Because it's hard to not feel responsible for your kids, right? Obviously, as a mom, you're responsible for your kids and you're responsible for guiding them, supporting them, providing what they need, but you're not responsible for their experience of life and their experience of emotions, their experience of pain, upset, sadness, right? They're going to go through that. and they're going to have that experience as a human, as a soul, and you are not responsible for that outcome, right? And that can be hard to understand as a mom, because we feel so attached to our children, especially because they literally like grew inside of us and came out of us, right? But the more that we can step into our own boundaries and being in our own energy and discerning between what is your energy and what is other people's energy and clearing other people's energy. This is why a huge part of the work that I do in all of my programs and with all of my clients is teaching you how to clear other people's energy out of your field and be in your own energy. Because this is literally one of the most important things that you can learn how to do so that you can be successful. And I do it with everybody, and I tell everybody to do it all the time, because we're always around people and we're always taking on other people's energy, right? But then it's being able to discern between what's mine and what's somebody else's, and how can I clear that from my field immediately so I can come back into my own sovereign, authentic energy. And then how can I make decisions that are in alignment with my own sovereign, authentic energy and not what I think other people want, or making my decisions based on what other people feel, or trying to make other people comfortable, or trying to prevent somebody else from feeling a certain way. Because that's codependency, that's enmeshment, and that's what keeps us stuck. And money, energy, love, abundance is not attracted to that type of energy because that's not aligned. That type of energy is not aligned. It's you making a decision based in fear and based in lack and based from a place of disempowerment. And you automatically will not be able to generate abundance or attract abundance or receive abundance when you're making a decision from lack. So that's why it's so important when you are stepping forward, when you're calling in more money, when you are making these big decisions in your life, to look at, why am I making this decision? Is it because this is what is in alignment for my soul and this is what I truly want? Or is it motivated by outside factors, by what I perceive that other people think I should do, or what society thinks I should do, or what my parents think I should do, or what my partner thinks I should do? Or is it motivated to prevent people from feeling a certain way, right? We have a lot of underlying motivations for things that we're not even aware of, until we start to really pull back the layers of the onion and go under the hood of the car and really start to look at, like, what are the underlying motivators here? Why am I really doing this? And the more that we can be really honest with ourselves about that, the more that we can start to step into more of that alignment with what we really want, what you really want, what you're really meant to do, and make a decision based on what is your mission on the planet, and make decisions based on that, rather than programming, rather than what you think other people want, or feeling this like feeling of being trapped because you have to take everyone else into consideration and you have to sacrifice yourself for other people. That's like this big energy that we're stepping out of. And I talked about this last week, but on like a collective energetic level, this year we're going to be stepping out of this codependency and this self-sacrificing energy. This has been an energy that has run rampant on this planet for a really long time, for centuries. And we're going to be shifting out of that because we are stepping into self-sovereignty. And that's what the Aquarian age is all about. It's about stepping into self-sovereignty. It's about looking within. It's about the inner authority. And it's no longer about feeling responsible for everyone around you. Because guess what? Everyone around you is responsible for themselves. And the minute that you stop feeling responsible for them, you give them the power to take responsibility for themselves. And it's a really tricky thing, because the way that we've been programmed by society is that it's selfish, right? Like when I first started my business and I left my full time job, I had all of these feelings come up that I was being selfish, that I was choosing myself over the kids that I used to work with, that I was choosing myself over my own children, which I don't even know how that makes sense, but these were like the thoughts that were coming up. And I realized it was like all of this programming, most of it ancestral, that you need to sacrifice your own happiness for other people. And that's somehow virtuous. That's somehow the right thing to do. And that's somehow going to get you to where you want to be. And that is like absolute bullshit. The only place that's going to get you is miserable and broke. So the point is, though, is that it can feel wrong to choose yourself and to choose what's in alignment for you at first, because of all of this programming we have around self-sacrifice, around that we have to be responsible for the people around us. And that's what we're stepping out of. That's what we're moving out of as we step into this new energetic time on the planet. So, I mentioned last week that I am seeing these energies really shifting, especially as we move into February. We have the USA Pluto return, which I'm sure you've heard me talk about. I also have Jenny Miller on the podcast talking about that and many other awesome things. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely check that out. But there's a lot of shifting going on, and our frequency is our greatest currency right now. Like learning how to work with your own energy, learning how to clear other people's energy, learning how to raise your own frequency, and learning how to essentially take your power back by being able to work with and shift your own energy is going to be crucial, not only for your own success, right? If you have your own business or in your career, or if you're calling in a relationship or whatever it is, learning how to work with your own energy is crucial. But especially as we move further into this shift of energies on the planet. So because of that, I'm offering this energy attunement next Friday, a week from today, the Pleiadian Energetic Attunement, which was downloaded to me from the Pleiadian energies that I work with, from the galactic energies that I work with. And I think you guys heard me share last week about my galactic astrology reading, where I was told that I channel these galactic energies in this very unique and special way. So I was guided to do another healing for all of you, where I channel these galactic energies and give you this like frequency attunement and upgrade that's going to align you to these energies of 2022. Because I imagine that a lot of you will want to experience this energetic shift and attune to these energies so that you can step forward, you can help your clients, and you can show up in the most aligned way possible in your highest timeline for 2022. So that's going to be next Friday at 6 p.m. on Zoom. It's $97. I think I'll put the link for you guys to sign up if you haven't signed up yet. I have some spaces left. I'm not going to take too many people, just because I'm going to give everyone the opportunity to ask a question. And I want to give everyone ample time to ask a question and receive an answer. And then everyone who comes to is also going to get an opportunity to work with me in a way that will only be available to the participants of this workshop. So I'm really excited for it. There's a big energy around it, and I can feel the big energetic shift that's going to happen for everybody who shows up, because every one of these that I do is like, it just blows me away. And my guides always tell me that it actually doesn't matter what I say during the energy attunement. It's just about the energies that are moving through me. But I never believe them. And I always think I, channel really good words. And they're always like, yeah, it doesn't even matter what you say. As long as you're sitting there and everyone shows up, they'll receive the energy. But of course, like the 3D version of me, like can't wrap my head around that. So yeah, these are really powerful. And if you are interested, I'll put the link down here so you guys can sign up. I think I'm going to take like 4 or 5 more people. So it's going to be really powerful, really fun. And then also, if you can't make it live, I will send out the recording. However, I do recommend coming live because it will be the most powerful and potent way to receive the attunement. And also, you will get an opportunity to ask me a question about anything that's going on for you, whether it's something that's really been eluding you, or a block that you've been having, or something that you feel like you can't really find the answer to. I'll be able to give you a really big perspective shift around it. And I will also like be tapped into these galactic energies, so there'll be an energetic shift for you around that very thing. So it's going to be really fun. I'm super excited for it. And please, if you are feeling called, just listen, because that means you're supposed to be there. So that's basically everything I have for today. I just want to encourage everyone to keep moving forward, keep getting support. Even if you are struggling at all right now, just know that everything I'm seeing for people right now is like whatever you're struggling with, you most likely are also experiencing the same or more amount of growth and shifts in your own personal process. So just remembering that and remembering how far you've come. I'm sure all of you, if you look at yourself at this time last year, you were probably a completely different person. So just remembering that, acknowledging that within yourself, and celebrating that, because when we celebrate, it anchors in the energy so that we can create more. So just allowing yourself, I want to invite you to just celebrate one thing that you have really shifted between last year and this year, and really acknowledge yourself for that. So I'm sending you so much love, and I will talk to all of you soon, and see you next week for the energetic attunement on Friday. All right, sending you guys lots of love. Have a great weekend. Bye.